Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Draft Night 2025. Got the Mad New Yorker backstage. He's got his mock draft. I've got my top 10. He actually got the whole first round and send it to me. Looks very interesting and thought out there. We'll talk about that. We'll break the picks, folks. We will break the picks before the TV people, just like we did last year. So stand by. We'll take our first, maybe a few other breaks because we're going to be on for the first 10 picks. So we're going to be here about an hour and 40 minutes because you got 10 minutes between picks. But we're not going to try to take too many breaks, but I'm sure I may have to take one restroom break. So let's go ahead and get that break out of the way. One of them, and we'll be back here shortly. We'll hit the ground running here on Draft Night. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming.
All righty, then. Let me go ahead and bring the Mad New Yorker here and have
Yo, what's up?
Man, what's up, Chief?
What up? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. You know, I was thinking today on the way home from work how, and of course, I've been watching this stuff on ESPN, the game day coverage with Nick Saban and that crew, and looking at those people a few hours before the draft started. When we were kids, me and you are both the same age, 40s, whatnot. And did you think in 1995, when the draft used to be on Saturdays, that it would get this big? Did you ever think it would get this big and exciting?
Yeah, I mean, I think like when you live in the moment, you don't think about what the sports, what it's gonna be like in the future. But I always looked at sports as part of history. Like, oh, when I get older, I know this is gonna be the day that such and such person got drafted or this such and such game happened, because that's how people talk about it. That's how I would hear about it when I'm watching sports, or even when I listen to it on the radio. You know, people would make fun of me, but like, you know, back in the day in the Latin household back then, they used to have one TV. And when I lived in New York, my grandmother, my sisters, they were all watching telenovelas, and I was stuck listening to the Yankees and the Mets on the radio. So, you know, those kind of things that you don't think about, like how better or how much change will happen within the sports. Like, but it's interesting now that you like having me recall that it would be on
hundreds of thousands of people. They've taken it to different cities, you know, and it's you know, Kevin's watching too. I think it really started to take off when all three of us were in college there at Austin Peay. And Kevin can chime in on this. They would have these long shows, you know, draft specials on ESPN weeks and weeks ahead of the draft. And I would sit there between class and go up to my dorm and watch that. Then I'd run into Kevin and said, we would talk about something talked about on the show. I said, man, I didn't realize how important 40 times were. And Kevin was like, no, they're not that important. So we were arguing. He's watching the same NFL draft show that I was watching, you know? And I just never, I always thought it was overrated. I mean, we're not even going to see another game. We're not going to see these players play for another 3.5 months, you know? But I just cannot believe it. And quite frankly, this is the most excited I've been because, well, Tennessee's got the number 1 overall pick here, and I'm out of Nashville. But I just never thought, and now by Sunday I'll be bummed out because, you know, we're not going to see anybody play for 4.5 months. But it is what it is, man. You have Monk of Cam Ward. I have Monk of Cam Ward going to Tennessee here in just a few minutes. What's your thoughts on Cam Ward, man?
I mean, a lot of prognosis, a lot of projections out there. You know, I've been asking you on the show. You think he's, you know, how would you compare him to Julian Daniels? I've been watching some more video on him. I mean, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that he can be compared to Julian Daniels. I think he is a little bit different in a little bit in different ways. I'm not sure his upside, what it's going to be, because I need to know what team he goes to, right? Like, we got to see what kind of protection he gets, and then also what kind of plays they got him doing. Are they going to use his strengths and abilities? Are they going to expect him to do something that has nothing to do with you know, his style of play and things like that? So I have high hopes for him because he's projected to go to Tennessee, and Tennessee's my 3rd team. Like, it's my home away from home, and I root for them when the Jets and the Giants are terrible. It's terrible when Titans are doing terrible. And I've had them prognosticated like in at least the playoffs in the last 3 seasons when we do the shows. And since they
ever since 1 year.
Maybe. Yeah, and ever since they lost
a little bit, man. I don't know. There's something I can't hardly hear you, Chief.
Oh, I'm on my phone today.
Okay.
Is this better right now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try to speak up then.
Okay.
So ever since Vrabel left, though, and they've been a switch around in the management and the GM and things like that, I've had high hopes for them. They need to come to the table, make the decision, and then also you live on the decision that they're making, not look back and just, if they're gonna have this kid play him out, play him rough, and then play him to his best of his abilities. Don't put him in a box, because that's the best way to get them ready to ship him out if you keep him in a box. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, he's you know, if it don't work out, they could get another quarterback in 2 years. I think it's, and if it does work out, you got your guy, you know, for the next 10, 12 years, whatnot. He's just a big time character guy. He's very cool under fire. He's almost too cool under fire. Kind of reminds me in that sense, in the big games, kind of reminds me of Eli Manning, former Giants quarterback. He's just bigger the game, the more calm he is. Other things, I think Kevin's criticism of him a few shows ago, I think that's legit. But I think he's a guy that's willing to put in the work to correct those mistakes. Humble character guy. You know, I didn't realize this, but he went to a junior college, you know. Then he went to Washington. So this guy's got 4 years of playing experience. He was a 0-star. Talked about that. By the way, I want to thank my man yesterday, Julian Nerick, from here out of Nashville, 3-star player here coming on the program, you know. But I listen, if it don't work out, it is what it is. You go back and get another quarterback in a few years. I understand that a guy like Travis Hunter, I think is probably the best player in this draft overall. Most would say that. Some would argue that maybe it's Abdul Carter. If that guy stays healthy, he's probably a freaking Hall of Famer. Hold on for a second. Let me make sure that this pick ain't came in yet. I didn't realize it's already 10 minutes. I'm talking about the guy like he's already been picked. The pick's got to be in. Hold on. I like to be ahead because it's not, we think it's going to go number one. Everybody says it's going to go number one. The Titans on the clock. The draft starts now. That was 5 minutes ago. Clay Matthews. Okay. Nothing yet. They try to drag it out, but I like to get ahead of it and hit refresh with this guy. He goes there every year. This Ari Morov from 33rd team. I got to give him. I'm following him on the X out. And as the last few years have gone, we've gotten the picks before the TV. TG's still going to pre-draft stuff. Yeah, Kevin. Most of the last 2 years we did this show, myself and Carlos, and then when I've been on Mac and Jack's draft show, I would get it before TV. So, and it's the same guy following the X out, you know. Guy's got money. He goes there. He puts them out. He puts them on the X out, and sometimes I'm 2 or 3 minutes ahead, ain't I, Carlos?
Yeah, yeah, I heard everything you're saying. I'm gonna switch over here in a second. So just give me a second.
You're going back to the computer?
Yeah, man. I just got a better view of that. So
okay,
and better sound, better.
As long as you don't mess this thing up, just hit it. I guess turn that off. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I trust you. I trust you.
Put me in the backstage. I'll be there in 2 seconds.
Right now. You ready?
Yeah. Yep,
okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I'll kick you from the studio. Let's see. All right. So Carlos is getting on a better computer so I can hear him. Who was it? I think it was Mel Kiper said a lot of times that the quarterback is not the number one overall player. You know, he has him as the 6th overall prospect. Some people have him, I want to say The Athletic has Cam Ward as the 13th overall prospect. But hey, if it works for you, I was reading today that the Giants were very aggressive with Tennessee to move up for this pick. Other teams were were also aggressive at this. By the way, okay, here comes Carlos. I think Carlos. Hey,
what's up, Chief?
Yeah, okay, that's a lot better there, brother.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a lot better. So it is what it is. Like I said, if it don't work out, you could go back. Now they may change coaches. Hopefully they won't. I like this offensive-minded head coach. Okay, the wait is over. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get to my stuff here. We've got the pick in. You like that, don't you, brother? It's official now. The Titans have selected Cam Ward with the number 1 pick in the draft. And listen, going back to August, man, Kevin, Carlos, audience, I'm watching this guy playing Florida, late August, September, Labor Day weekend. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy looks like a young Steve McNair. You know, with his touch on the football, the way he can keep – McNair would keep his shoulders square.
Right.
And he was very accurate. He was very accurate with the football. You know, I thought, man, this guy may be a pretty good pick. Now, I picked them to win the ACC. I picked them to get to the playoffs when he made that transfer from Washington. I was looking at some of his film. then, and if it wasn't for that crappy loss to Syracuse, which the defense really let them down, they would have done all that stuff. Remember that happened at the very end of the very end there of the season. Okay, we've got breaking news here. Okay, folks, the Browns are trading the number 2 pick to the Jaguars.
Ooh.
The Browns are trading the number 2 pick to the Jaguars. So the Jaguars are on the clock. This is according to Ari Morvov out of 33rd team. I'm telling you, we're ahead of TV, guys. So who would Jacksonville want? They can use Abdul Carter. They've already got they're gonna
get that running back.
They got Jonathan what's his name? Josh Allen. His name is Josh Himes Allen.
Right.
So could they can use a cornerback there. They can use a cornerback. This is a young, aggressive, very young general manager that they've got down there. I want to say he's like 34 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And
Travis Hunter.
Genty, one guy, Lance Zerline, who's on the Colin Cowherd show. This is a scout. This guy's a former scout or whatnot. He says that Genty was his number 1 player on his board overall over Hunter. I think Hunter is. Now they have that their secondary's always been an issue. They could use a Travis Hunter, but I would not be surprised if it's Genty. You put him in the backfield. You would have 2 running backs there.
Yeah,
unless they change. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, if they don't, Travis Hunter, that'll be his home. So he's from West Palm Beach. So
that would be the owner would love that.
Yeah, so he gets a lot of people.
ETN, I mean, him and ETN, that would be interesting. He could play off Brian. Now, if you go the other way, you give Travis Hunter, he could play off Brian Thomas, and they definitely could use a cornerback there. I would probably take Hunter, but I'm not sure. It could very well be Genty. Not a stretch to say Genty's the best player. He's a huge talent.
Right, yeah. Look at that, man.
He reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson, guys. I mean, Genty's all that. But he is a running back, and they did take Leonard Fournette, and he didn't do that good there. But he did good with Tom Brady in Tampa.
Yeah. Carol and I hang out at the same coffee shops, man.
Did you meet Kevin?
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, we all went to school together.
Yeah.
At the UC. So, Jacksonville, I'm saying Travis Hunter. You're saying Genty.
Genty.
I'm not going to be surprised if it's Genty. But Travis Hunter, he's a special player, man. I mean, he's.
You know what it is too is that you want to compliment. You just paid an extension on your quarterback, right? You want him to have opportunities. So even if he picked Hunter or if he picked Genty, they're trying to help out the quarterback there. They're trying to make sure that they can give him some extra protection, man. So I don't think they'll go defense at all. So
okay, here's some information on this trade. The Browns are trading a number 2 overall pick, a 4th rounder, which is number 104, and a 6th rounder to the Jaguars in exchange for the 5th rounder of Jacksonville. Their 2nd round pick, which is number 36, their 4th round, which is number 126, and a 2026 first rounder. Wow. I hope Tennessee could get something like that, maybe a little more there.
Oh my God!
Everybody was thinking Jacksonville.
I wanted them to take the Giants pick, man. Man, look at Cleveland coming out. No matter what anybody has to say, Cleveland is going to come out on this one with clean hands because they've had so many bad hits in the first round, anyways. This is a time for them to just kind of take a seat back and look at the talent and get what they really need and just try to get depth. There's a thing that they don't have is depth. So,
yeah.
And they'll be able to make Garrett happy and get some depth and defensive help later in the rounds and.
Oh, they could take Mason Graham at 5. A lot of people say that's the number 1 defensive tackle on the board, one of the better players. Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, perhaps, and put him on the defensive line with the Myles Garrett. And a lot of this is they want more picks because they being Cleveland, they're paying Deshaun Watson a lot of money, and they want to get as many players on rookie contracts as possible to offset that. So really smart move by Jacksonville. Or by Cleveland. I'm not sure about Jacksonville. This young hotshot guy. I said yesterday, he's going to try to make a splash. He'll take Genty at 5, or he'll do something. And sure enough, that's what he did. He should have stayed disciplined and taken the 5th, but whatever. What do I know?
If either way, they don't take Genty or they take Hunter. They're already a better football team.
Okay, breaking news here. Sorry to cut you off. Jacksonville's taking Travis Hunter, Kevin. Let me go ahead and get this on here. Jacksonville will be taking Travis Hunter with the number 2 overall pick, the Heisman Trophy winner. This guy could be, if he stays healthy, a Hall of Famer. Right off the bat. I mean, I think that's how good he really is. Most people, Nick Saban said he would actually play him at receiver. He would play him even though he has problems with his route running ability, but he likes his footwork. He thinks he can learn that. I think he should play corner most of his primary position. What's your thoughts on Travis Hunter?
Man, just throw him the ball and he'll just try to catch it. Don't worry about his routes. He's fast enough and he's talented enough to grab the ball. That's what makes him also a good cornerback is the fact that he can just turn around really quick and he's got a lot of range. So, this gives the quarterback a little bit of help that he needs. He doesn't just have a one receiver. He'll have opportunity to be two receivers in there. So that's going to be helping the Jags offensively for sure. They can put some points up now. Let's
How much would you play him at receiver?
I'd probably do about maybe a little bit more than probably half or a little bit more, depending on the situation. Everything's situational, but that you have him. Yeah. You have him in your pocket. So
cornerback packages for him on offense. Wow. So Kevin's saying that he would do like Saban and take him as a receiver. They've got Brian Thomas out of LSU. By the way, not to beat a dead horse going back to Cam Ward, Jaden Daniels had Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors to throw to. And I was looking at the rankings. Nobody is projected else to go in the first round at Miami. That's a little, hey, a nugget there for Cam Ward. But back to this.
Well,
back to Travis Hunter. I'm sorry.
But real quick, even the guard that's in Miami is rated like top 3, one of the top 3 guards.
Yes. And the tight end's rated pretty high. He's 36th overall.
That was coming out of ACC, so he might get on the late end, might get picked. So we'll see. But Travis Hunter gets to stay home, man. So that's
he's in Jacksonville.
No income tax.
No income tax there. This tight end Arroyo was 36 for Miami. I just happened to watch this on game day. 36th overall prospect. I want to say that was according to Phil Yates, and I want to say Mel Kiper as well. And this Martinez guy's a running back at 123, and this guard is like number 140 something. I think his name is Barron from Miami. So it is what it is. Talk is cheap. We'll see what happens when they suit up.
Man, I hope the Giants sell their pick. Oh my gosh.
So the Giants are on the clock right now. More on Travis Hunter. Yeah, I would play him at corner. That being said, I'm not just because he's a special player, because the number of snaps that he's played, I'm not just going to play him like as a decoy here and there. I'm actually going to play this guy entire series, probably maybe 2 at the beginning of the game. And I will alternate him for certain like goal line packages and whatnot, but I'll also play him like in a 2-minute drive, maybe the last 2 drives of the game, because he is a special player. He's a special player. We'll see what happens. Didn't you have Travis Hunter going number 2 overall in your mock draft as well?
I think to Cleveland, though, right?
Yeah, we both had him going to Cleveland. I didn't think this was going to happen. So, but that's why you play the games. That's why you watch it live. You know,
I love it because it's like, even though we had that going, I was like, yo, like, what's going on? I like that they did that. Props to Cleveland, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what's up for Cleveland, man. They needed that.
Yeah, it's good for them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you had him going, Hunter going 2 as well. Now you've got Ashton Jeanty going to 3. So you're thinking the Raiders are going to trade up to your Giants?
I hope, man. I'm doing this, and before people throw rocks and tomatoes at me, and hoping that this is the next Micah Parsons and Lawrence Taylor, whatever they want to project. I have the Raiders trading up to get Jeanty, right? And I still have the Giants have an opportunity to pick up Abdul Carter anyways, because I have Will Campbell going 4, and I have Mason
to New England. Same here. Yeah, correct.
And I have Mason Graham going 5, and Mason Graham might still go 5.
Possibly, yes. Yes, right. That'd be perfect.
Right.
Because now he's with Jacksonville or with Cleveland, and Cleveland can use a tackle. They never really had nobody to offset Myles Garrett. So that would be good. In my mock, I had the Raiders staying at 6 and taking Schroeder Sanders. A lot of people are saying that he may fall actually out of the first round now.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
I heard that on ESPN just before I got on a few minutes ago.
That's a coffee talk shop.
Okay, wait a minute. Something just came through.
Please sell. Please sell.
The Giants are selecting Penn State defensive end, edge rusher Abdul Carter.
No guts.
Pick overall. This is from my man Ari Marvov from 33rd Team. He says he's 2024 unanimous All-American Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. You're pairing him with Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. And what about Kayvon Thibodeau, a former first-round pick who's not very inconsistent? What do you do with him? You just rotating?
You move the guys like you play them like you have them, and you just because Thibodeau's been known as an injury case now, and so they're not going to extend him now that they have Carter, and then they can move away from him next season or the season after. So, it's all a money move, man. No guts by Schoen, bro. No guts, man.
Yeah.
To me, this is the same old. Why I never drank the Kool-Aid for the Giants. He is what he is, and I was hoping that he'd do something just to help the team a little bit. Them picking at number 3, they didn't have to make a splash. They didn't have to. They made it here in New York. The media made it all like it's an all or nothing, and even if he didn't listen to the media, he could have done himself a favor and moved down and got a few more picks, man. They were never going to win the Super Bowl with one player anyway. So
yeah,
I don't think he's fit for the job of being in New York, and it shows right now with just having no guts, man. Like this is the NFL draft. You don't as many bad picks as they had in the past. They wasn't gonna make it up on one draft anyway. So,
that's true. But he's a good player.
He's good, but again,
5.5. This is Kayvon Thibodeau. 5.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble last year. How many games did he play? So, I mean, you guys got, man, he played 12 games last year, and he was 17 the year before that, and 14 in his rookie year. So, I mean, you lining him up with Carter. Now, here's what I like about Carter. You can put him on the other side. You can put him on the strong side, which is to the quarterback's right, and put you could put Burns or Thibodeau on the weak side and rotate these players in and around. I mean, that's something interesting there for it's
yeah,
good
but
to have
their
that
biggest
depth,
problem, Robert, is scoring points. Their biggest problem is not defense. And even when their defense was hurt, they were still good enough to hold the wall up a little bit. Like when Dexter Lawrence went out, they was okay. And when Thibodeau was out, they was okay. They wasn't hurting for talent on a defensive end. They were holding just enough.
They're taking the best player available.
Nah, I don't know about that, man.
There were some talk that he could go, that Schroeder Sanders could have went number 3, but you still got Russell Wilson.
No,
I
wasn't gonna be surprised if it didn't get Schroeder Sanders or a quarterback. My thing has always been for the draft. The Giants have always been overpicking players for the last 5 drafts.
Yeah.
Right. Or let's say 4. Let's be nice and say 4. So, you don't have a quarterback, and you're not going to get a quarterback because your quarterback you might be able to get him if he falls. Who the quarterback you want, right? Who the coach wants, and it's like, stop playing mind games. Just build the team up. You're rebuilding. Get depth. That's all you got to do. Like,
that's what they're doing now, though.
Yeah, but
why would you want them to reach? They probably didn't have a suitor. Let me answer Kevin's question. Listen, Cam Ward is an older player. He's got 4 years of playing experience. I think I would start him right off the bat. I think he's ready. I think now, if he was 20 years old, like your boy, the Jets, like the Jets' last 2 quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson, I would probably let him sit. But look at Jaden Daniels, much older player, came in right away, played well. This guy's 23 years old, Kevin. What do you think? Cam Ward, should you start him or slow walk him in?
It would depend on how this draft finishes up and what you end up with the rest of your O-line, because they're definitely going to pick some more players.
This signed Dan Moore, left tackle, $50 million guaranteed from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful with Cam Moore.
Okay, hold on, man. This thing is going rapid fire, brother. Sorry. The Patriots are on the clock, but they've made a pick. Okay, this thing is going as scripted, folks. Patriots have selected LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell with the 4th pick. Dick Saban said earlier he's all that. He said he don't care about his arm's length and all that. He tried to recruit him. He thinks he's A-OK in Nick Saban's mind earlier today. I agree with it. And by the way, let me say this. Kudos, breathe, Patriot fans. Breathe, Keith Engel, because I know in the back of my mind and in the back of Mike Vrabel's mind, he wanted to take Mason Graham, and they needed a left tackle to protect what's his name, Drake May. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that he does not have that much authority. He's a great coach. You don't want him picking the players. Have some say, but not the final say. Good pick here for New England. What do you think? Will Campbell for the Pats. Carlos.
I think that they like the kid from the get. They weren't going to sell, move away, or move down. And that's the way they are, the Patriots, usually. So at least they have a goal in mind, and they had a plan, and they reached their goal with their plan, man. So that's the Patriot way that they're trying to recuperate on. So, kudos to them. They got the player that they wanted. So
and I think who they signed, what's that guy's name? Monty Williams, the other defensive tackle from Philadelphia. So, but you can never have enough of those guys. You want to have a freight train over the middle of the ball. Good pick, though, for New England. Now we have the Cleveland Browns on the clock. I'm thinking Mason Graham from Michigan to pair him in the middle with Myles Garrett, who just signed a huge extension. They wanted out, and they said, well, I'll feel better if you throw me some cash. And
just give me a bigger coat, man. It's cold up in Cleveland.
So you got – I'm thinking Mason Graham. By the way, there's another guy. He's from Ole Miss. He may be a wild card. You know what I'm talking about? This defensive tackle from Ole Miss. I'm looking for a list here of the best prospects here. And I forgot. Well, you know what? I thought I had all the rankings here.
Ole Miss. I'm looking. I'm
gonna find him here in just a second. But some people, not many,
Walter Nolan
think that he's a better player than Mason Graham.
You're talking about Walter?
His name, what'd you say?
Walter Nolan?
I think so. Yes. Remember how well they played against Georgia?
Yeah.
That's the tackles, guys, that Tennessee needed to beat Georgia. That's the tackles. I wasn't very impressed with Jackson Dart in that game, but I was impressed with their pass rush.
Funny story on Dart.
Thank you, Kevin. Some say he may be a better prospect than Mason Graham.
Can I just say on the wall, because they a lot of talk about the Giants coach liking Dable, liking Dart. He didn't really perform well in any of the big games in the SEC. So
yeah,
I mean, whatever, man. I hope that he does not get picked by Giants. Is what I'm saying.
I think it'll be Mason Graham. They need help. I don't think it'll be Will Campbell. They need help at corner. They can use a receiver. I don't think it'll be that T-Mac guy from Arizona receiver. I think it'll probably be Mason Graham.
Question, Robert.
Yeah.
Are you watching?
Hold on, man. Something just came through. Sorry, dude. It's rapid fire, man. My man Ari Morveau from 33rd team. The Browns have selected Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham. Man, hey, man, what level are we on, man?
We're good right now. My list is
man,
good.
We're bad. We nationwide, Chief.
So real quick, you're not watching this. You're just on a ticker, right?
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm following on the X app a guy that's actually at the draft. So we're ahead.
Right. So no,
you're watching on TV in the background.
Yeah, you got Travis Hunter coming in a real pink Miami Vice type.
I saw that earlier.
Right. At first, I thought that was you. I was like, "It's Robert." Is he in Green Bay?
I saw that. I saw him earlier. Yeah, he's super pink.
Yeah, man.
How far have they made that announcement on TV? By the way.
I might be a little bit slow because I'm running on but right now somebody just got picked up, which is let's see here. Yeah,
Ari says Graham is a heavy-handed disruptor presence in the middle. Now joins Cleveland's interior line. Very consistent. Think about it this way: look how bad their offense was, and they dominated the Ohio State with that defense. And a lot of it was him, man. It was him. And a few years ago, it was Aiden Hutchinson. We know what Aiden Hutchinson can do, who's now with the Detroit Lions. So thought that was a good pick. Now the Raiders, my mock was they're going to surprise everybody. They're going to surprise everybody and go with Schroeder Sanders. Because of the Tom Brady connection there. Brady has part ownership. He's got some say in there. We don't know if he has the say. He has some say But Jeanty being there, Pete Carroll wants Ashton Jeanty. He loves him some Ashton Jeanty. So Jeanty is still on the board. Nobody bit the bullet. I'm sure. You know what? They may get trade offers.
Yeah, it might be a trade offer.
Maybe. So this is interesting here. I'm thinking it's Schroeder, but it's probably going to be Ashton Jeanty. But listen, I mean, Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell. I mean, does that get you excited? They can use a tackle, though. They can use this Armand, what's his name, Mimbu from Missouri.
Yeah.
They could use that as well. So one of those three will probably be it.
Well, they got a tight end. Right?
Well, they got Brock Bowers. Tyler Warren is still on the board. I was thinking Raiders might get Sanders. Bears want Jeanty too. Oh, Bears would love. Oh, and plus the North Carolina guy as well.
They've been getting a lot of prospects out, man, for not being a football school.
Who's that?
Carolina.
Yeah. I know you like to think that your poop don't stink.
You should play that when the Jets pick.
Let's see. Moses really smell like ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, remember that song?
Yeah. That's on the B.O.B. album, isn't it?
Yeah, that's I could have swore I had all these rankings, man. I have to go back and relook this up.
I had pages and pages of all these kids and rankings.
Mm-hmm.
My son came in here and played some Minecraft and I can't find nothing, man. But I can log into Minecraft real quick if I need to.
Yeah, I hear you. Armand Hampton from North Carolina. He reminds me of and plus Trayvon Henderson's out there, and he's probably going to go in the second round or third, late first, early second. It is a pretty deep running back draft, if you ask me. This guy is so quick. I have to keep my eye on this X app, with the quickness here of the way this pace has been going, man.
Man, they still talking about Will Campbell over here. So
Will Campbell, I'm telling you, hey man, we're just a cut above the rest. We just got to get the money, Let's see. Jeanty, Armand Hampton, Trayvon Henderson, Quinston Junkins from Ohio State as well is listed as the best available from ESPN. Dylan Sampson, 7th. That's a running back. He might go second or third round. Speedy guy. You remember Dylan Sampson, don't you? Runs a good 40.
Yeah.
From the Vols. Okay. Something just came through, but I need to go ahead and play this. As most expected, the Raiders have taken the Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. Pete Carroll is thinking Marshawn Lynch, run the ball. Maybe these teams, maybe this Raider team, maybe your Giants team can trade back into the first round and get a Schroeder Sanders, and maybe jump ahead of a Pittsburgh at 21. Okay, so now I do think Schroeder can fall. I do not think he's going to go 9 to the Saints like a lot of people are thinking. What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's not going to fall too much. I don't like you got who you got the see
Dart. Or you talking about who may need a quarterback?
No, I'm looking to see who these next few teams that need quarterbacks.
Well, your Jets are on the clock now. That would really shock the world if the Jets took that. When you talk about ticking off Justin Fields,
man, I don't know. They've been holding their cards close, and they've been pretty quiet this year. And I'm glad because it sounds.
Did you
like
have them taking Tyler Warren as well?
I had them taking
the tight end from Penn State.
No, I had them taking the lineman from
Mimbu
from Missouri.
From Missouri. Okay, that's the smart thing to do for the Jets.
Well, you ain't trying to be.
But
you just got a new coach. You ain't trying to get crazy.
Okay. So the flashy thing is what they like to do. They've also got a very young general manager, if I'm not mistaken. I think one of the general manager for Jacksonville, I think he's like 40, and the general manager for the Jets is like 34. I mean, just young whippersnapper kind of guys.
I better be whipping snapping something good because these Jet fans are getting rowdy, man.
Yeah. So, possibly he can go.
I think the Saints.
The Saints have a lot of needs, man.
And look, the Saints they did kind of smart because they just looking to see what the first four come out to, and they're gonna have Shedeur just land in their lap. Like they didn't have to make any moves. I'm sure they made a lot of phone calls. You know.
Yeah, and now Derek Carr. Nothing's came out official about this shoulder surgery. Plus, they've got Spencer Rattler. He had some flashes last year. They got so many needs, man. I couldn't imagine them taking Sanders. But then again, Mickey Loomis is all over the place, that general manager down there.
Do you like Spencer Rattler at all?
No, not really.
Really?
He came in with a lot of hype.
Huh.
He looked poised at times. Remember, he got beat up by Caleb Williams at Oklahoma, and they both transferred.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I'm talking about football in the NFL last season.
He had some moments last year, you know.
He impressed me a lot because
he had some moments. I mean, it sounds like they're not being patient. If they go with Schroeder, maybe that don't happen. I don't know. You know, does not seem to want to play for the Saints. Rattler's just ain't it. Yeah, Rattler was a 4th round pick. He's a throwaway player. Maybe they brought him in solely as a backup, but I don't know why'd you take a 4th rounder as a backup. But I don't.
He had a lot of
question. A lot of stuff the Saints do right now.
Yeah, he had a lot of upside. I like that he had the no quit kind of attitude, and is he the quarterback of the future for the Saints? Maybe not, but he did not play horrible. I feel like he played better than Daniel Jones played the career that Daniel Jones had. So, you know,
they've got a new coach now, an offensive background. Carr wanted to play for the other coach. Okay, the other coach is fired. Did not work out there. That guy's probably a defensive coordinator material only. We'll see. The Jets are on the clock, by the way. Let me look and see who you had the Jets. I'm almost for certain that's who you took. But we could go back and check. I had them taking Tyler Warren. You had them taking Armand Mimbu. That's the smart thing to do. Put him at right tackle.
Yes.
Fashanu at left.
Yes.
That's a smart thing to do. That's what I would do. I think they're going to take Tyler Warren. You haven't had a great tight end there in 150 years.
Where? In New York?
Man, I mean, I was looking up some notes on the Jets. The last time they had a good tight end was a guy named Mickey Schuler, drafted in 1978. That's supposedly the best tight end they've ever had.
Yeah, they had some guys that had some upside, but they
had Coughlin. He was okay.
They hadn't had quarterbacks that were consistent anyway. So
I'm saying Tyler Warren. You're saying Mimboom, the right tackle, who is he's second rated tackle according to, I want to say, Pro Football Focus, behind Will Campbell, who's off the board.
So the Panthers are up after the Jets Do you think the Dallas is going to move up to get Matthew Golden?
A wide receiver? I don't know. I think they may get that. If they get a receiver, I don't know. I think they might go after
do they get Shedeur Sanders if he's
possibly Golden, but I haven't seen him pop up recently in mock drafts that high. I think this T-Mac guy from Arizona, they might go after him as a number 2 receiver.
Well, they pick up Shedeur Sanders if he's there.
Let me see. Hold on. Well, that would really rock the world, wouldn't it?
Oh, buddy.
Okay, hold on. Okay, something just happened here, and it looks like that they're have a good head on their shoulder. The Jets are they're making the good decision here. Offensive tackle Armand Menboum at number 7. He primarily played right tackle in college. That's what he's going to do here. Now, remember, what's his name? Tyler Smith, the guy that they got last year from, I think it's Tyrone Smith, from Dallas. He retired.
Right.
He played 1 year with the Jets. He retired. They moved Fashanu to left. Fashanu had some good moments there at the left tackle. Very good pass blocker. Needs some help in his run blocking, but he played well according to the scouts and everything I've read. So now because they had him at right, they're going to move him back to left, and now they're going to put Menboum at right tackle. Smart move. Stop trying to get the headlines. Good move, Jets there. You got to get that line squared away no matter what.
I would have sold that pick. I would have sold that pick because he was going to be there for another three or four.
Well, they're not making emotional moves,
right?
You know.
But you could have think about it. You could have gotten
went back page of New York Post.
Right, you could have gotten 3 more players, maybe. Think about that.
That's a very good pick. Good call, Allstate. I think you've called just about. Well, you missed on that trade, but
yeah, I was hoping the Giants made that trade with Cleveland.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I was close.
Yeah, they did what I thought they should do, and kudos to the Jets there. So, listen, Tyler Warren is still on the board, and the 49ers are picking 11th. They need help at left tackle. This Kelvin Banks would be a good pick for the Niners at 11. But wouldn't Tyler Warren be awesome with that Kyle Shanahan system where he's moving them around all over the place? He can be Kittle's replacement.
Yeah,
he's expensive, and he's post 30.
I mean, if I'm San Francisco, though, I'm rebuilding that defense, man.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to protect the quarterback, whether it's going to be, and I think it's going to be. They're probably going to overpay Brock Purdy. But it's probably going to be Brock Purdy there. Okay. So Carolina's on. They are on the clock. My mock is Jalen Williams, I think is his name. Was that the guy from Georgia, right? The edge rusher? I think that's who you had too, right?
Jalen who? Sorry.
Let me double check here, Chief. Looking for mine here first. Yeah, they're on the clock here. They are on the clock. Carolina. Now they might take a receiver as well, but if they're smart, they'll get this edge rusher here. They will get this edge rusher here out of. They will get this edge rusher here out of Georgia. Excuse me.
Georgia.
I mean, Dan Morgan's the general manager. Jalen Walker. Yeah, I think it's Williams. Hold on.
Michael Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. Out Warren. weren't a big great tight end.
I got Michael Williams going to the
But
Saints.
very good. Yeah, Warren's very good. But I think it's going to be this guy here out of Georgia. By the way, he's one of the higher end overall. Jalen Walker, excuse me. Jalen Walker, he's number 5 overall according to the Athletic overall prospect. This is according to Athletics. So we shall see Awuku Saki. This Shamir Stewart guy is ranked really high. He's also an edge rusher. I want to say he's from Texas Tech. Mike Green from Marshall is a highly rated edge rusher. I'm thinking it's going to be Walker, Jalen Walker out of Georgia, or it could be T-Mac, the wide receiver out of Arizona.
You like T-Mac, huh?
You had Carolina taking Chief. I guess I can look back at your stuff.
Michael. I have Matthew Gold. I have the Panthers picking Matthew Gold.
Not Matthew Golden. Wide receiver out of Texas.
Yeah. So a little bit of a weapon for Bryce.
Bryce needs a weapon. That's
Young.
true. But I think they can get it in the second round. We shall see, guys.
I want another trade.
Okay, hold on. The Lions first picked under Dan Campbell was Penei Sewell became. Okay, I thought he put something else in there. Threw me off there for a second. So Aaron Glenn's first pick was and that was smart. Good call. Now I don't know if Aaron Glenn made that call, but that was a good pick by the Jets. The Jets are acting like adults, man. They're acting like grown-ups.
They've been quiet, so that's good too.
Kevin says the Raiders got Bowers last year, Janty this year. What are the chances they trade to get Sanders if he falls to a certain point? Yeah, it's going to get really interesting if the Saints don't get him. I don't think the Saints are going to get him. I've heard buzzes about that, but that calmed down about 3 weeks ago. I'm thinking around 21st with somebody's going to have to jump the Steelers because the Steelers like Schroeder too.
Ooh.
Man, if he went to the Steelers, he's got 2 good receivers to throw the ball to.
Woo.
And he's going with a defensive-minded head coach, but,
Mike Tomlin
Smith is not a bad coordinator.
Mike Tomlin ain't never been scared of offense, man.
Well, they do got DK, and they got George Pickens. So I would give everybody an announcement about us going off of Roku TV, but it looks like I'm not even broadcasting on Roku, so we're on Facebook and YouTube, so it is what it is. It leaves without being said. Kevin says, yes, several mocks got the Steelers taking Sanders. I thought possibly Monroe may go there because he had a good visit there. It depends on how Sanders gets along. Sanders says Mike Tomlin reminds him of his dad, Dion. I could see it. They need help at left tackle. We don't know how Broderick Jones is going to hold up there, the former University of Georgia guy that his second year, I want to say, coming from a right tackle over to left, or maybe coming into his third. There's a lot of questions about Steelers, but they do got players. You got Firemouth there. You got a tight end, which is good for a young quarterback. And then you got George Pickens and, of course, DK. DK looked frustrated going into camp today. Mason Rudolph's their quarterback right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Something just broke. Okay. Carolina. The Carolina Panthers have selected the wide receiver, Arizona, Totoro McMillan. That's the guy I said that they may go with. Tall guy, kind of reminds me of Brandon Marshall a little bit. I don't know if you've seen any film on him. He was regarded early on as a top wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah. He's got length.
He's got that long body, don't he?
Right.
Going to be good for jump balls there. Doesn't run the best 40. He's like a 4. He's a long strider.
He's got range, which helps him. So
yeah, he kind of reminds me of a poor man's Mike Evans as well, with that body form.
Right.
I really like him. I did not like what he said. 6'4", 219. That's a big dude, man.
Man, 6'4".
6'4", 219. College career receiving yards, 34, 23. I did not like the fact that he says he doesn't watch film, but that was his freshman year. He's grown since then. He's a Polynesian guy, you know. I saw him interview today, and I think, man, he kind of reminds me of a Troy Polamalu kind of guy if Polamalu got a haircut.
Right, like those guys show a lot of toughness, like Puka Nacua and all those guys. So
Puka is also Polynesian.
Yeah,
got that Polynesian power, man. You know, we'll see. We'll see how he plays out. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's gotten criticized for saying that. He said that was an old video. He was younger. He does watch film now. So we'll see. Listen, I mean, Bryce Young looked good at the end of the year last year, but he's throwing to older receivers.
Right. Let's see if there's a trade coming up.
Yeah, I know. One trade kind of threw me off there because there was nothing going on pre-draft, man. I'm looking at their receiving depth chart. Yeah, Adam Thielen is 100 years old in football years. Xavier Legette's more of a speedy guy. Probably not the number one. I think this guy will probably be the number one early on in his career. This T-Mac that they just drafted. And, of course, Jalen Coker. I don't even know who that is. That's the other guy on there. They definitely needed a receiver. I would have still went edge rusher, but that's me. But, you know, you want to build up the young quarterback as much as you can around him, right? Coming into his third year, Bryce Young. Remember, they almost beat the Eagles last year. This team may be a shocker this year. They might sneak into the playoffs. Could mess around and win the NFC South if they get the right schedule. Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowd there.
He's a good running back, man.
Wow. Man, Jaylen Warren was on the board. They could have took him there. That would have been nice. But Warren is still there at number 8. At number are we at number – yeah, no, we're at number 9, dude.
Yeah, we're at
we got 2 more picks, and then we're done. This is how fast this goes.
We're on
wow. Okay.
No news for New Orleans?
The Big Easy. Schroeder's there. They don't have to make a move. I mean, he's there for the taking. I had them taking this guy. So I don't know their biggest needs. I'm going to have to go to their needs now.
What's his name? Michael.
I had them taking Armand Mendu at tackle there. Now, wow. I don't even know if there's any other. I don't know if Kelvin Banks is rated this high. They might go defense, man.
Yeah,
they may take Jalen Walker.
If they don't sell this pick, I have them getting Michael Williams from Georgia.
Williams?
From Georgia, yeah.
Okay, that's the other edge rusher.
Yeah.
That who you had?
Yep.
I mean, they could take a tight end as well because Warren is such a good player. They need everything, man. You had them taking Michael Williams. Yeah. I'll guess that they will take – let me go back to their needs.
Everything, like you said, bro. Everything.
They need everything, man. They need a new general manager.
They need to go to Walmart or Sam. Better yet, go to Sam's. Get players from wholesale, son. Dang.
Let's see. Here we go. They need running back. They need wide receiver. They need defensive linemen. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they're going to take this guy from Ole Miss. How about that? they're going to take that tackle from Ole Miss.
Mm.
And what's my man's name here? Kevin told us earlier. Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan. How about that? That's my guess.
You got a stock on him or something?
Huh?
You got a stock on him or something?
Stock?
You got a bet on him?
No. I just hear that they've been talking a lot about him as being a very good defensive tackle, and some have him above Mason Graham, who just went off the board there at 5. Very good pick there for the Browns. And a lot of people, there was some talk that this guy, T-Mac, would, no, here we go. Hold on. I stand corrected. I said I thought they would take the right tackle from Missouri. Didn't maybe think they might not have taken Kelvin Banks. I thought that might have been a reach. But apparently that's not the case here. The Saints have taken Texas offensive tackle guard Kelvin Banks at the number 9 pick. So,
wow.
You know what? We haven't been off on none of these picks, really. We've named the player. Kelvin Banks. So no Schroeder Sanders, man.
Ooh.
No Schroeder Sanders. Maybe he was considered a late pick. The Bears on the board now.
I have Banks going to the Dolphins.
At 13, yeah, they needed a tackle.
Oh.
They needed a tackle. Now you're really it's a really free fall as far as rated. Now needs for the Bears defensive linemen. I mean, Carter's out there. Williams is out there. I think they'll take Carter from Georgia, but we'll see. We shall see.
Chicago now, they're going to be deep.
I mean, they could take this other guy, this running back from Carolina.
I wouldn't take him. I would hold off.
I mean, you've already got.
I would take him to the second round.
That's what people are saying, but
give Caleb Williams another.
They got
weapon.
too swift.
Get the tight end. If you're going to go that route, might as well get the tight end.
He may be the highest rated player on there, Tyler Warren.
Right,
put him with Cole Kmet.
Yeah, if you're going to go. Now I have Tyler Warren going to the Broncos at 20, but I mean,
you had him going to 20.
Yeah.
Oh, Warren will be on if they don't take him. He's there for the taking. He is there for the taking for the 49ers.
And I have Omarion Hampton, the North Carolina. I have the running back going to Steelers.
Okay. Well, that's a typical Steelers move. Take a running back or a defensive guy. And they lost Najee Harris in free agency. That's a pretty good pick.
Right.
But they got this other guy named Warren as well, the running back. He's faster. I think they'll probably get a running back in the second round. If Sanders is not on the board, but you're right, or they'll take another defensive lineman because Hayward's getting older. Cameron Hayward's getting pretty old. But the Bears, I'm thinking Carter, man. I'm thinking this. Did I mess this guy's name up again?
Nolan?
Jalen Walker, the edge rusher from the edge rusher here from Jalen Walker, excuse me. That's your favorite drink, Walker.
Johnny Walker.
Johnny.
that was my Beagle's name. Rest in peace, Johnny Walker.
I was talking to a guy at work, and he says the interesting part for Tennessee would probably be tomorrow because they picked 35th, and you still got these quarterbacks out there. Jackson Dart and the over and under. The ESPN guys are saying they don't think that 3 quarterbacks are going to go in the first round. I think there's a possibility that Dart and Sanders could go at the very end of the first round.
Yeah, but the end of the
That's
first
the Giants, possibly the Saints, maybe the Raiders, right? Maybe Cleveland.
I think Cleveland already gave up the picks.
No, but they have more picks. Remember, they traded down.
That's true.
They have more picks. So Cleveland can move back in if they're going to move off Watson. There's a lot of thought that they are. Wow, Warren's still out there. But Jalen Walker, I mean, if it's me, I'm getting the edge rusher, man. You know, as much as I like Tyler Warren, I'm getting the edge rusher. But we'll see, dude.
A few guys still out there. So.
Going by quick, ain't it? Okay, the Bears, they
I'm
done messed
surprised
around.
Dallas hasn't bought in to go up.
I don't know what the deal is, but the pick is in. The pick is in.
Chicago.
Okay, the Bears are taking Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. He's a taller player.
Whoa, they went with Loveland, but they got a
went
tight
with
end
Loveland over Warren.
over Warren. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, you know the guy that's the president of he's the president of the Bears. He used to work in the Big Ten, and they're Michigan's not too far from Chicago.
Right.
You know, he's a taller player than Warren, but Warren, you could put him anywhere, man. Warren could take a snap if he wanted to. You could put Warren in the slot. Loveland's a good player. I don't know if I'd have took him this high. There's going to be some criticism here. For the general manager ultimately makes this pick here. This is they're going to get some criticism for this.
Yeah, because he could have. I have Loveland.
Rob Bowles. He got some criticism last year for taking all those skill players and not enough linemen. I would have took the defensive lineman personally,
But what they got a problem? Chicago should have got a bunch of old linemen first before they got a tight end.
Well, they picked up a bunch of guys in free agency.
You can't never go wrong with a bunch of.
Well, I don't know if the rating is there now. Banks is off the board. Campbell's off the board. Mumba, whatever, from Missouri's off the board. So
you still have Donovan Jackson. You still have Conley Jr.
But I don't know if those guys are rated this high. I think Poles may have made a mistake there, man. I think
they should have just sold the pick, man.
Sometimes you don't have to. You got to have a buyer. Any final thoughts so far before we wrap this thing up?
I mean, there was a few flops already, I believe, but these teams are sticking to their guns.
Sports. The biggest flop I think was the Bears just now.
Yeah. Look, I'm surprised that the Saints needing as much to rebuild that team. I would have sold the pick to the Cowboys or
Yeah, but they might have not had enough to come up. I'm surprised that the trade that was made with Cleveland. Be honest.
I would have went straight to Dallas and been like, you can have this pick. Give me Michael Parsons and two other picks, and
yeah.
The Saints would have been way better. Dallas could have dumped that contract, and they could have got what they need.
The Saints have they have issues. That's the problem. The Saints have a lot of cap issues, and Loomis was not. He's not addressing these cap issues, and I would have moved off him. I think I would have moved off him as a general manager if I'm ownership there. So. I think everything is kind of went pretty much as scripted other than that trade. I think Cleveland did well, man. They had a good day. They have so far. We only got 10 picks in, but
kudos to Cleveland.
They got that trade down.
Here's the thing, Robert. It's not about even finding the necessity. It's about getting more for your bang, more bang for your buck. And Cleveland did exactly what a lot of teams should have done, and went ahead and just was like, you know what? Then because they're all just commodities, and they're not gonna all give you ROI. So just because they're ranked, just because they have rankings and this and that, like you don't draft first draft pick players and they're automatically going to Hall of Fame. So, and that's, I think, something that a lot of these teams tend to forget. I know it's a good opportunity when you're in the top 10 to pick, but you can't bank on them for, if you're going to bank on them, you try to get more for your buck. And Cleveland did that, and kudos to them. The Jets did a solid job. I feel like the Titans were always going to pick Cam no matter what. I feel like they could have sold that pick and rebuilt that team a little bit. But
the Giants wanted to come up for that pick.
Right. So.
Maybe the Giants didn't have enough fire. What I heard a few weeks ago about that was they didn't want to come off nothing next year. And Tennessee wanted next year's first round.
And let's talk about –
I agree with Tennessee.
Right. And real quick before we leave, let's talk about how deep defensively this draft is, because there's 4 guys on the table. So if the Giants –
both Georgia players are still there.
Yeah. If the Giants didn't get
James Pierce from Tennessee, some were saying he was going to be the number 1 pick.
There's so much
small. He's a small
That's what I'm
player.
saying. So if you wanted to come up, you could, or go down, you could have gotten rid of some picks. Yeah, you might not have gotten Carter, but you would have still been able to get 5 of the top 20 players in defense. So I feel like you waste. You did what you did. You got
Mike
Carter.
Green from Marshall's a good player too. Another edge rusher.
Look at that. So
it's a good edge rusher draft, man.
It's so we'll see what goes on in these later rounds in the next few rounds. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Appreciate you. By the way, we'll break one more story here, one more pick. Folks, since this broke while we're still in the air, the 49ers are taking defensive end Mykel Williams. They're not taking Carter. He will play with Nick Bosa. So they felt like the value wasn't there. With tackle, they need to help. They need to replace Trent Williams, who's aging, and they've already got George Kittle. So take the pass rusher. 49ers, smart move here. Took the edge rusher. I guess they felt like Williams was the better player than Carter. So,
oh Lord Jesus, are the Dallas Cowboys going to get Shedeur Sanders?
Wow, he's fallen. He's fallen. That would break the internet, dude, because they've already paying Dak a lot of money. So, text me if you want to. I'm gonna hang around for a little bit longer.
Should we stay
go ahead and end the show tonight. Anything else to plug, real quick?
No, but everything's right now. I'm in the middle of doing a lot of projects, trying to finish up with school stuff real quick, and then getting on. I'm trying to do a show for baseball this week and get caught up with that. The Yankees and the Mets are doing well right now, so and doing a little rep in the Nashville today. I don't know if you saw that.
Okay, who is that? The Sounds.
Yeah, man.
Nice. Yeah. Listen, we'll talk about the playoffs in the next week.
Playoffs.
Get your take on the Jets and Giants next Thursday. Hopefully you can come on. And have a good night, brother.
Yo. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.